we were supposed to be getting that Sue Gray report, weren't we? We were supposed to be getting it last week, then this week, and now we still haven't seen it. Let's speak to Bill Bowkett, who's a political reporter for Reaction Life, a contributor to Young Voices UK. Welcome to the show, Bill, for the first time.
Very good morning, Jason.
Thank you very much for coming on this morning. Now, let's start with the Sue Gray report. Where is it? Do you know, Bill?
I don't think anyone knows where the Sue Gray report is, at least to my understanding. At least the Sue Gray's inquiries with eyes has finished, but it's yet to have been put down on the Prime Minister's desk for him to then publish it in the House of Commons library. At least my understanding, as reported by The Sun's Harry Cole yesterday, is that lawyers are looking at the report with a very fine tooth comb because they're worried that should the report be made public, and previously the Prime Minister's spokesperson has made a commitment to publish the report, quote, in full, that any findings would impede now on the criminal investigation by the Metropolitan Police.
That's right.
So they're just very concerned about that because obviously junior civil servants, as stated within the Ministerial Code, can't be mentioned, but it's very likely that other senior aides could be mentioned within the report to kind of ease some of the blame away from the Prime Minister. So it's there. It's just a case of when and also what form it takes.
So I wonder if we won't see it today, though, because all the politicians are off in their constituencies today. So he won't be able to come to the House of Commons. It's definitely going to be going to next week now, isn't it, we think?
It would have to, because yesterday Labour had called for a one-line whip, and there had been no information, at least from Speaker Lindsay Hoyle, that there was going to be an emergency statement on the matter, because ultimately, as Lindsay Hoyle said on Wednesday when he took a point of order from the Tory MP Peter Bone, Tory MP or backbench MPs need enough time to read the report in order to kind of make their verdict. So it is most likely now, since it's a constituency day, going to be probably Monday, but as the Telegraph reported, it could be any day this week, and with potential more reports coming out this weekend, and also greater scrutiny by Sue Gray into kind of drafting and concluding this report, it could be delayed even further.
So you expect that we'll hear more about things that have gone on in Downing Street over the last couple of years this weekend as well? There's going to be something else drawn out of the hat?
Yes, I think so, because I think one thing that we can do at this moment of time, whilst we are stuck in kind of a Westminster limbo, is know exactly what is going to be addressed. I think we know that the government's going to try and soften the blow caused by the scandal as much as possible. We've had the Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss, recognising that there needs to be a, quote, change in culture within number 10 about the illicit parties happening, during the pandemic, and also Johnson is expected to overhaul some of his inner circle as well, to take some of the blame away from him as well.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Liz Truss, because she's defended herself using the government plane for the Australia trip. I mean, how much did it cost again? I can't remember.
£500,000.
£500,000 to take a trip. That's a very expensive trip to Australia, and she's defended that. What do you think about that? How's that for her leadership hope?
I think long term is not the most consequential. I think I can understand the backlash that this would have, not only because of the cost it would do to the taxpayer, and the fact also, I think this has been overlooked, that the government has committed to cutting carbon emissions. So rather than taking scheduled flights, which would have been more efficient, deciding to take a £500,000 private jet over to Australasia. But I have also seen defences in the sense that that is what it's designed for foreign dignitaries, and that they should go at least in style and in comfort in order to to talk to delegates and to foreign leaders as well.
It seems like anything the government do, it sort of piles on at the moment. Anything they do, obviously the opposition is onto them immediately because they want the resignation of Boris Johnson. How long is that going to last, that kind of push to get rid of him?
Well, at least my understanding that the letters are there, to trigger a leadership contest. It's
Oh,
more
right.
of a case of the Tory MPs are just waiting for the right moment. Some have said on the record that they want to wait for the Sue Gray report. Others may wish until the police investigation concludes, which could take months, and others might want to wait more tactically. So I think one day we should keep an eye on if there is going to be a push to drive Boris Johnson out would be the local elections that we have in May,
Oh, yes.
which Conservatives are projected to lose some seats.
That's going to be very interesting here in London, isn't it? Wandsworth, Westminster, various Conservative seats could fall. That'd be very interesting. What about this rise in national insurance? Do you think they will do a U-turn on that?
So this also links back to the Sue Gray report in many ways, because Johnson, has been spending all of this week trying to lure, Tory loyalists, especially Red Wall, pork pie plotters as they're called, back onto his side, and is actually willing to appease them with a slew of policy announcements, part of Operation Red Meat, and one of those could be a potential cut in national insurance to ease the struggle millions are facing at the moment with the cost of living crisis.
Bill Bowkett, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Political reporter for Reaction Live, contributor to Young Voices UK as well. Bill, thanks for that. We'll see what happens this weekend.